Richard.
Case. Test case. Caravan. EPA. BizCon. The cap.
You said right. Counterplan. Yeah.
Actually.
Test case.
Mm-hmm.
And then again at the end.
We're going to put the K after the caravan.
All right, you're gonna have to just.
Restart.
Case, test case, counterplan, K, EPA mass, BizCon.
Remember that? I'm going to highlight two important issues here. First of all, they have no internal links. They have the right to abortion in any way of key to the agency. All of our internal links stem from the ability of the government to maintain an ideology and manipulate your ability in a decision-making process with regards to how you perceive your own self. Also, we're going to consider none of their evidence about backlash will ever is all specific to increase abortion rights. This is really a mere case about whether or not doctors have to decide to give particular information. We're going to concede their argument that rights don't spill over. This takes out all their backlash terms that the right to informed consent doesn't spill over to create another type of backlash. Also, there's no impact needs for their progressive legislation, social movement. So with them reading the 20,000 screws by 2 AC, they say agencies constrain that as answered by gather evidence. We want to have an absolute notion of agency or just all that. They say focus on our abortion rights. This doesn't link to the plan. Also, this is the judicial power. There's no link to this. We don't increase the power. The Supreme Court will exist if we have rules on the status quo. The campaign doesn't solve this, and the permutation will provide coverage to solve this back end. There's no backlash. Public will know. But keeper 97, great best the public ignorance. The court actually does public know the decision. For Americans, the court was right in the court's land our decision. Test case 1, no resolution basis. Some cases that does not possible things as well as after claiming that it's on particular classification, like the plan extra topical 2. Currently was bad learning that case or bad education moves we are doing it with the substance of the plan B. Yes, part of the moves on advantage to wait better sense. Same Christians rights and most arcane particular particular capitalization. Hey, Northwestern, Harry 3 year I found 30. The topic to break the game to start with the small topic of the athletes building on negative ground for not willing issue. Therefore, the reasonability they make these rollback arguments, but we still give the counterplan 1. Supreme Court cases are understandable moments and people making a decision while the government because rights inevitably conflict with each other. Function the judicial system makes the emergence of subordination. Never only the courts down into a decision to disrupt the decision that she and 97 the subsequent answers back their judicial power and benefit all two. The purpose of the Constitution protected liberty from the government. True say is essential. That's guaranteed 993. Currently the planet's house choices will avoid it just because Congress can blame reject the counterplan. It's artificially competitive because it enforced through the courts. It's just plain plus 4. Supreme Court perceived that your regulation abortion restrictions are unconstitutional. This is spoken on specific acts of 94. The courts were likely viewed for Congress attempt to base spoke on Congress and violation of the 10th Amendment and 14th Amendment present serious obstacles. Congress appeared to find the cause being in Congress of the negate separation of power from the protocol and constitutional 5. All our answers to rollback was some congressional enforcement and recognized constitutional rights, not the creation of new ones. 6 Congress causes inapplicable as on the Supreme Court holds informed consent on new burn Lapu 93. Current constitutional laws tolerate regulation under burn semi-weak non-jury burn regulation created to distortion the Congress cloud one way between the mayor burns and this is true for 14th Amendment Lapu 93. Constitutional abortion court puts in the testimony in the gap in place of scope of constitutional power 14th Amendment put in the test and declaring corporates and declaring Congress and 5 abortion legislation and abortion regulations. Conditionality that A, the right to move in target to exceed time allocation B, if there is to a negative C, this will solve all their offense. Okay. One plan solves the critique that the best that's our Shannon 97 and 2 plan recognizes the fundamental subjectivity of the law prevents the state from imposing the legal subjectivity on the population and burden to do the plan and adopt the individual intellectual resistance by the local institution of the plan and thus the actions of the main plan pro-governmentality of the plan gets to say out of the business of mediation show call for choice. The plan is a prerequisite to true and main personal autonomy, which is a requirement to alternative problem rejects the fall choice between user state institutions and governmentality and all private legal education to understand what women is incapable of making a decision that she had an extra legal alternative because there's no collective spill over their fantasy. Sees legal powers reactionary guys low 7. Hunter moves on the way from brand narrative substitute because the certain principle of so many accept understands opposition of playing the game as well for a brand narrative. Legal principles of alternative legal form capable of producing change in social life by practicing law, social arrangement, power relations, describing instability, lead from counter to ideas of transformation, method, given to still ongoing reality, and then current to ideas to do lots of social charging back from percent are assessing point more talk of also their link makes no sense. Businesses might base their they might do stuff based on economic issues of precedent, but not on the KC precedent. And the economy is resilient to survive shocks and will survive here and OECD fund. The Serbian just represents the U.S. coming to face the social points for energy prices and the same hurricanes of the U.S. coming to cope with the shocks of the past 45 years. And President said she's still calling said thoughts of the housing bubble and the status quo marker are equal to 2-2. The crystal housing bubble will not be millions of people stand to lose on her life, saying the inevitable the bubble created will not get too, so they can question the housing dirt. It's here in big time on Great Japan, low interest rate bonds, the same prices for the tax fairly stage for the biggest busts in American history, and housing market correlate to overall growth market or equal to 2. Most Americans do their loans over significantly higher growth when you're taking $225 billion less from the overall economy. The housing prices tightly is kind of make Americans to shrink accordingly. And go back to EPA. Negative feedback check warming. I just want to do so too. Storm negative feedback to the storm will not affect the existence of evaporation. Cool the plant the roast and then create the produce low clouds with cool the warming and can actually counter negative feedback and not present in kind of amounts. And more economies no longer depend on the U.S. You also have a soft landing anyway. This is obvious con. U.S. will have a soft landing anyway. Australian 1.2. One U.S. system is low down soft landing team more low where it is per point and point for the EBS economy just hold the beach of the global economy. The one over telling the U.S. economic growth balloon. Sorry if that was messy, my bad.
Can I get the stuff you read in the counterpoint, please?
Alright, so what are we doing then? You read this piece of evidence on the criticism that indicates, I guess you're going to use it as perm solvency, is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean I did tag it as perm solves.
Did you read the printed tag or the written tag?
I read perm solves.
Okay. It is pretty much a book report that indicates what Foucault thinks, or how he thinks power works. He says that power functions by structuring the field of possible
It
actions.
discusses the difference between macro resistance and micro resistance.
Okay, where does it talk about that?
This is only the first page. This is like a 4-page card. I can give you the rest of it if you want.
Okay, so
I understand like you might not get from reading the first page.
Sure. If power functions by structuring the field of possible choices, how does it macro or micro changes?
It takes that assumption that Foucault makes and later goes on to explain why that does not necessarily mean that we cannot, we as autonomous subjects still have the biopolitics might, I'm getting the rest of the card. Biopolitics might, I mean, that's the contention, that there are structures and influences and institutions that inevitably end up shaping and altering how we as subjects exist. That does not mean that we can, subjectivity is a two-way street. We as individuals can take how the law has subjectized us and instead reinstate our identity upon the system.
Right, and so that would just be another fluctuation of the structure of the field of action,
Like,
you know?
Foucault does not think all biopolitics is bad. We just can't understand the consequences. He would still think we should do that.
Let's
He
talk about
protested the French government to remove consent.
and thought that using the court would be the best way to solve it.
No,
Anyway,
he
let's
thought
talk
using the
about-
government would be the best way to solve it.
Okay, let's talk about the dissent. You make arguments at the top about why the case outweighs. You say things like value to life and the possibility of happiness. How do we weigh that against other?
Weigh it by saying that we outweigh.
Okay, so if there is a possibility of happiness in both the act and the neg worlds, but we also have to prevent a nuclear extinction, would that be a tiebreaker, or is that not something that we can weigh at all?
I mean, if you want to say that you have all the case impacts and like another thing, I'm sure you could say that way. We'll make the argument you don't get this specific type of autonomy. There's an entire segment of our population that is denied the right to have a say in the decision-making process that affects their lives.
All right, so you read this 92 Smith card that indicates that the plan moves Kennedy to the left. If you're accusing us of not having evidence about this specific EPA case, how is a 92 card indicative
You don't
of how
have any
Kennedy
evidence that he would not overrule EPA instead of not ruling like the 6 other cases he's heard.
Stare decisis, is that right?
What was that?
No, it's on EPA.
No, it's on EPA.
I mean, you're right, it's not EPA specific. If you want to concede that argument, like, that those cards shouldn't matter, I'd be more than happy to.